Time now for the Daily Answer, sponsored by Salem Surround on The Answer Now TV.
I wanted to make sure you heard it from us directly, some analysis of what just broke yesterday evening between Israel, Hamas, the Arab world, the United States, which has been brokering this deal to, one, get to a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Second, for Hamas to give up governance of the Gaza Strip, the return of the hostages. Israel believes 20 of those hostages are still living. Hamas hasn't said exactly that that's the number, but we hope and pray that it is, that number, and that they will ultimately return bodies as well. So this will be a first step we'll see from Hamas if they can meet what they have agreed to. And I want to make that clear. Hamas has agreed to this. Now, until any of that happens, again, we have to be praying that it does. We've represented these families. One of those families, the brother of the twin brothers that Israel believes are still alive. Again, you can understand how they're feeling right now. One, that Israel has continued to confirm that they believe that they are living, and two, that they may be returned home over the weekend, or at least early next week. I want to bring my dad right into the discussion, Jay Sekulow, our chief counsel. And Dad, I mean, that's kind of point one, is that this would be ultimately maybe the most historic peace deal in history if it goes through, in the Middle East, if it goes through the way that it is planned to. But even if phase one works, I mean, we haven't seen anything like this since the foundation of Israel. There's been consistent fighting and terror attacks and war since 1948.
This is very encouraging. First of all, it would bring regional stability, not just to Israel and including Gaza and the West Bank, but it would bring regional stability to the Middle East. And that's very important for the rest of the world. You have to put this also in a context. Iran has been significantly degraded over the last 9 months because of President Trump's orders directly in our U.S. military, degrading their nuclear capacity. So you have that also happening simultaneously. We had the introduction of the first phase, what I call it, of the Abraham Accords. I think you're going to see this open up other countries to sign those accords in the very near future. You could already see that the regional players, including the Arab countries, are looking forward to this actually happening because it will take pressure off of all of them. Of course, our initial and primary concern has been the hostages because as lawyers, we were retained by those families a number of the families to represent their interests before international tribunals, which we did. You mentioned in the first segment, we did it in Washington. We've done it at the UN. We've done it at the European, the legislative chambers in Europe, including the European Parliament, and the Council of Europe. So we have made an international effort here, and I think what you're about to see, and look, the details here are the key. It's not now what's been written, that's been executed. It is the implementation of this. Will we actually see the release of the hostages? And Jordan, as you just pointed out, are there 20? Are there 30? Are there 5? We don't have a specific number. Israel's intelligence thinks there's upwards of 20. I hope and pray that's the case. I hope and pray there's more. But this is a very positive development, and I think you could see a radical change in the entire region.
Yeah, I mean, we know we were with Liron Berman and his twin brothers, Gali and Ziv Berman, who Israel, throughout the conflict, throughout these 2 years, and their photos are on the screen now, and he joined us in Washington, D.C., Israel has believed and put it out the message they believe that those twin brothers are still alive. And that would be a miracle. But it would also be, I think, something that, again, people weren't expecting this to even be the case anymore, that this could actually come to a close. The way that Prime Minister Netanyahu actually said that this will not be over and we will not stop until every hostage is returned. And with the decimation of Hamas, the decimation of much of the Gaza Strip, a lot of pressure on Israel because of their response. But Dad, ultimately, if Hamas demilitarizes and returns the bodies and those living hostages, Israel did exactly what it said it would do.
Well, that's exactly right. And look, I mean, this has been a very trying time for the entire region. Gaza's been devastated. And, of course, the atrocities that Hamas did. And you're negotiating with terrorists. So you're signing deals with terrorists. We got to realize that. But there's a long-term play here of regional stability with the way that it's envisioned that Gaza will be redeveloped. And I think that with the leadership of Hamas, it's also been degraded and significantly eliminated, that they had no choice here. If the military action of Israel had not been taken, this deal would never have happened. If the President Trump did not successfully order the U.S. military to strike those Iran nuclear facilities, this would not have happened. So it took a culmination of months of efforts here to do this.
Yeah, I mean, you realize that Hamas was cut off from its allies. Iran no longer had the capability after those attacks to keep supplying them weapons. Most of their leadership has been taken out, even when they announced new leaders. The same for Hezbollah. So Hezbollah was not able to go in and assist Hamas as they usually would, and other radical groups. I mean, their leadership is just decimated. We're not even sure who exactly is claiming to be the head of Hamas in the Gaza Strip right now. Usually they've got their entire face covered when they do any kind of media reports. They have some other political leaders, but most of them have also have been taken out as well during this conflict. And I think, Dad, it could rewrite history, because we were getting to a point where the world was saying, you know what, this is too much from Israel. This is too much destruction, too much war. But as you just said, if this didn't all happen the way it happened, Israel would not be even thinking about right now any living hostages being returned, the bodies of those who were deceased, unfortunately, but those bodies being returned, and Hamas demilitarizing and allowing an international force, really a regional force of mostly Arab nation militaries, to go in and secure the Gaza Strip instead of the Israelis having to do it. I mean, you think about that, hindsight's 20/20, but then you put it all together and realize everything that Israel did, and including weathering the criticism and storm and questions about did they go too far, was it too aggressive in their response? Like you said, they wouldn't be here today, and they wouldn't be here today if the U.S. hadn't taken those aggressive steps on Iran as well. So we neutralized every single one of Hamas's partners. We made it clear that if you are a leader of Hamas, and Israel made it clear, even outside the Gaza Strip, that you were not safe. And so Ismail Haniyeh is no more. And their leadership that was inside the Gaza Strip was totally taken out. So they say, that they're willing to give up governance. They're willing to demilitarize. And Dad, I think if that does happen, it's because they basically already have given up. They can't govern anymore, and they can't. They have very little military weaponry left.
I think their capacity as both a paramilitary organization as functioning governments is gone. That has also been degraded and decimated. They don't have the capacity to govern. So I want to say something to some of the naysayers out there that were questioning President Trump on this, and including conservatives, by the way, and well-known ones. And also those that were taking this kind of anti-Israel stance and they were doing too much. We would not be here today, first of all, if Hamas didn't start these atrocities, number one. Number two, we would not be here today unless the military action of the United States and the military action of Israel in the region had not taken place. So without those two, nothing happens. Now you've got Hamas coming to the table, giving up governance, which they're not capable of doing because they have no choice. They're not doing this because they want to. They're doing this because they have no choice. So, look, there's vital American interests at play here in the Middle East, considering Iran was threatening to cut off the Strait of Hormuz, which would have removed, I think, 65% of the oil and gas transports in the region and also to the rest of the world. So this end result is very positive.
Yeah, I just want to play this flashback really quick for folks. This is November 7th, a month after the October 7th attacks. We brought those families of the hostages we represented to Capitol Hill. This is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson 2 years ago.
We want to thank these families again for their courage and their willingness to share your harrowing stories. And I will say again and reiterate once more, we will stand against these atrocities, and we will stand with Israel, and we'll stand with each of you and your families. We'll be praying for you, and we'll be taking action, because that's what we're going to do here. That's what's called for. I know that your time is short and you have to leave. I want to thank Jay and Jordan Sekulow, the American Center for Law and Justice, for helping facilitate the visit today. I know you have a tight itinerary, so we'll allow you all to step off the stage, if you will.
So, folks, again, that just underscores how long at the ACLJ we've been working towards this kind of moment, knowing that it was an uphill battle anytime you're dealing with a terrorist organization. But I think it's a great reminder of why you support the work of the ACLJ. Folks, we need your support today at aclj.org. And you can become an ACLJ champion. Go to aclj.org. Support us today. Let's pray that these hostages get home and that there's peace for the people of Israel and for the region.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel. Stay informed anytime, anywhere with the Salem News Channel and 9:30 a.m. TheAnswer.com. This has been The Daily Answer, sponsored by Salem Surround on The Answer Now TV.